Fala galera, você está na Stonks Gameplays, quem fala com vocês é Montec, e hoje a gente vai fazer um jogo de Stanley Parable, né? Rafa tá aí, muito bem, Rafa. Estamos ao vivo na Twitch, se você está assistindo na Twitch já siga, se está no YouTube já deixa seu like, se inscreva, comente, compartilhe com os amigos e vambora. The Stanley Parable, vamos ver se vai ser uma série, vai ser um vídeo só, iniciar jogo. Vamos que vamos. Não vamos esquipar. Muito bem.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard.
Ok.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Que vida, hein, pai? Hein, Stanley?
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
A sala é grande, né?
Stanley was happy.
Was happy. Ok, Stanley.
And then one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable
Como assim? Vou me mover sem ninguém me dar ordens.
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ok. Agora é com a gente. Né? Estamos aqui. Eu mexo com o mouse, mexo com o WASD. E vambora. Eu consigo mexer aqui? Não. Mexer no meu... Não também. Vamos então. Não consigo entrar. Apertando E aqui para ver se consigo. E aqui a grande parada... Não é terror não, Rafa. Aqui a grande parada é... Será que eu vou seguir o que o cara tá falando ou não? Mas não é terror não. Fico cegado. Eu odeio jogo de terror. Eu odeio tomar susto, cara. É uma bosta. Mas parece um pouquinho, né? Todo mundo sumiu. Aqui é uma plantinha. Ok. Não consigo abrir nada. Será que eu vou? Não vou. Vou na direita, então.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ok. Tudo trancado. Chegamos.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Vamos seguir dessa vez? Vamos, né?
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Eu posso descer aqui? Posso. Mas porta oposta, né? Então porta oposta é lá. A sensibilidade tá um pouco zoada aqui. Vamos voltar. Eu não consigo pular, não consigo fazer mais nada. Tá, e aí? Ah, aqui é a sala de reunião.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
E?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Consigo pular, não consigo fazer nada. Consigo fechar a porta?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty
Ó, o cara quer que eu saia.
No reason to still be here.
Ok. Sai, vai.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
O que acontece se eu descer? E nada, será que eu tenho que subir?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Que eu
All because
quis?
he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt.
Meu Deus!
He found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers
Eu tô num círculo vicioso.
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real life
Tá, vou voltar.
pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
Não consigo voltar. Meu Deus.
Imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Meu Deus.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Why?
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Eu tô cansado de
Very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Que aí não é um sonho.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
Não consigo me abaixar.
See him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream.
Ok,
He
quero.
closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin,
Não tô tocando mais nada.
the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Ok, gostaria muito.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Isso, esse jogo me dá um susto, eu ficar puto.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
Perfeito.
Please, it's all I want.
All I want.
I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Caralho, olha que mantra. Meu Deus, ainda estamos no lugar. Ok, pode ser um pouco creepy, né?
Someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I'm real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Eita porra.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oi?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like.
Caralho, morri.
In that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she
Tô tentando falar pouco, pessoal, principalmente por causa do narrador, né? O principal parte do jogo, eu acho. Fim? Fim? Ok, galera, acho que esse foi o primeiro final do jogo. Se você gostou, deixe seu like. Eu acho que eu vou fazer outras versões. Não esquece de comentar, se inscrever. E se quiser mais aí, então é só deixar aí no comentário pra gente fazer outros finais do The Stanley Parable, ok? É isso, galera. Aquele abraço. Valeu, falou e tchau!